Let's begin adding fractions. Fractions must have the same denominators before they can be added. For example, let's add 1/5 plus 2/5. Both fractions have the same denominator, fifths. To add them, we will add their numerators. 1 plus 2 equals 3. The denominator will stay the same, 3/5. Let's try another one. 4/5 plus 2/5 equals 6/5. 6/5 is an improper fraction. If you want, you may change it to a mixed number, 1 and 1/5. Let's try another one. Here, let's add 2/9 plus 4/9. Add the numerators. 2 plus 4 equals 6. Our denominator, 9ths. Don't forget, reduce if possible. 6/9 reduces to 2/3. Sometimes you will need to add fractions that have different denominators. But you already know fractions must have the same denominators before they can be added. So what do we do if they do not have the same denominators? For example, how can we add 2/9 plus 5/12? Well, we will need to rewrite them so they have the same number in their denominators. We will write equivalent fractions. First, let's find the LCM, the least common multiple for the denominators 9 and 12. Here I have listed the multiples of 9 and 12. I will highlight the first multiple that they have in common, 36. This is the LCM for the numbers 9 and 12. Let's use the number 36 as the common denominator. Now, we will need to rewrite our fractions using new numerators so they have the same value as the original fraction, but they use the LCM for their denominator. To do so, we're going to multiply by a factor of 1, written in the form that allows us to change the denominator into the LCM. For example, 9 times 4 equals 36. On top, we also multiply by 4. 2 times 4 equals 8. We have multiplied 2/9 by the fraction 4/4 equals 8/36. Now, for the second fraction, we'll multiply 12 by 3. 12 times 3 is 36. We'll multiply 5 also by 3, giving us 15. 5/12 times 3/3 equals 15/36. Now that we have common denominators, we can add their numerators. 8 plus 15 is 23, and the denominator remains 36. Let's practice adding fractions with unlike denominators. Here we have 4/7 plus 2/14. Because the denominators are different, we'll need to find the LCM. I have listed the multiples of 7 and the multiples of 14. Highlight the first multiple they have in common, 14. The LCM of 7 and 14 is 14. Now let's use that to rewrite equivalent fractions. We will place 14 in the denominator of both fractions. We will then multiply both fractions by a form of 1 to have our equivalent fraction with the denominator 14. 7 times 2 equals 14. 4 times 2 equals 8. 4 sevenths equals 8 fourteenths. 14 times 1 equals 14. 2 times 1 equals 2. 2 fourteenths equals 2 fourteenths. Well, that makes sense. Now that we have common denominators, let's add our numerators. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 fourteenths. The denominator stays the same. Of course, this can be reduced. 10 fourteenths can be divided by 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, which gives us an answer of 5 sevenths. Let's try our next example. 1/4 plus 1/5. They have different denominators, so we'll need to find the LCM. I have listed the multiples of 4 and the multiples of 5. Highlight the first multiple they have in common, 20. The LCM of 4 and 5 is 20. Let's change our fractions into equivalent fractions with a denominator of 20. We will write 20 in the denominator of both fractions and multiply each fraction by a form of 1 so that our denominator will be 20. 4 times 5 equals 20. 1 times 5 equals 5. 5 times 4 equals 20. 1 times 4 equals 4. Now that we have written equivalent fractions with the same denominator, we'll add our numerators. 5 plus 4 is 9, and use our common denominator, 20. Our answer, 9/20. Let's add mixed numbers that have different denominators. 3 and 1/10 plus 1 and 1/6. First, let's find the LCM for the denominators 10 and 6. I have listed the multiples of 10 and 6, highlighted their least common multiple. The first multiple they have in common is 30. Now I will rewrite both mixed numbers, so the fraction part is written as equivalent fractions with a denominator of 30. We'll start by changing this denominator to 30. 10 times 3 is 30. 1 times 3 is 3. And the bottom one, we have a whole number of 1, a fraction with a denominator of 30. 6 times 5 is 30. 1 times 5 is 5. Now that we have fractions with the same denominator, we'll add the numerators. 3 plus 5 is 8. The denominator stays the same, 30. And we add the whole numbers, 3 plus 1, which is 4. You see our fraction, 8/30, can be reduced. If we divide the top by 2, we get 4. If we divide the bottom by 2, we get 15. So we have the answer 4 and 4/15.